All right, everyone, welcome back into another fantasy golf video. Going to be breaking down the top prop bets on Underdog for the Valero Texas Open. So I would love to do a prize picks video with this as well, but they've just been so late to the party with getting out their prop bets that if Underdog has them out right now, might as well give you guys some coverage. So I do think we are getting some decent edges here right now. And let's just go over them. So right now, we're seeing that birdie or better. We're seeing that they might be overvaluing the birdie or better lines a decent amount. So like on average, players don't really score that many birdies on this track. It's typically a harder scoring track. Now I do want to call out that maybe the weather's changing a bunch. Okay, I was going to say maybe because the weather's supposed to get worse later on in the week that they might think that Thursday's going to play easier, but as it sits right now, 17-mile-per-hour winds, that could actually end up being the worst day. So it's weird that we're getting these lines that we are currently getting because Underdog seems to be betting on the course playing easier than it has in years past. So much so that I felt the need to look up the scoring average from last year. In round one, that was. And actually last year's round one played a little bit harder than all the other rounds. So again, we are getting just some weird, strange lines for round one of the Valero Texas Open, which hopefully that bodes well for us. So we got Hideki for under birdies or better. Now, he is the second best pick in the 9 and 5 mile this week. So I don't know if I exactly want to go in on that. And I will say maybe there's going to be some differences between tee times advantage, AM, PM tee times. Obviously, that comes out Tuesday evening, and we won't know where the tees are set up or where the pins are set up. They could be easier pin placements for round one. Maybe some of the tees are up on some scoring holes. Like they could set it up to maybe choose to play a little bit easier in round one. We don't have any of that stuff just yet. So again, I find it super strange, just the lines that we were getting. And so like something like this, like Benny Ann won the better plays this week. I get why his fantasy score is so high. I do not get why Akshay's line is that high, and I don't get why Eric Cole's line is that high. Colin Morikawa's line feels a little bit too high for his fantasy score, as does Matt Fitzpatrick, who has been a little bit hit or miss as well. And so this is kind of a weird one. If you guys disagree with me, if you guys think Colin Morikawa is going to have a good round one, then you could bet his over 5 birdies. But I think the better bet would be his under fantasy score. And that's really the biggest takeaway here is that based off of last year's data and the year prior to that as well, we're seeing that Underdog is probably overvaluing a lot of these golfers a ton, really, and it's kind of strange. Now, I get that there's not that many more bogeys made on average at this tournament. It's about like 0.5 more, but there's significantly less birdies. And so I would say on average, where we are seeing a lot of these under fantasy score prop bets be the one that we should be targeting, I would agree with that. And so, yeah, this bogey or worse, about 2.9 on average. So that tells us that more golfers are going to get 3 bogeys in their round or worse. And a lot of the lines that we're getting there are about 2.5 on average. So definitely some strange lines that we are getting. If you wanted to bet, let's say, Rory or Jordan for over their strokes, I would get that as well. But that's also another sign that it's a little bit weird. So the best stroke lines that we're getting right now, and let me just use Rory as an example. So for Rory, we're getting 5 birdies, which to me does seem to be a little bit aggressive. Again, about the tournament average is about 3.5. And so with the strokes at 69, that's basically telling us what? He's going to get 2 bogeys on his round, which if that occurs, if he gets 5 birdies and only 2 bogeys, he would get the over fantasy score. Again, that just doesn't seem like it, but that does point out to me that the best golfer in the field per Vegas sportsbooks and whatnot is only going to shoot 3 under par at best. That's what they think is the most likely lowest round, which is right. But that tells me that all those other fantasy score prop bets that we're getting for Underdog, these are probably correct. Now, do I want to bet Benny Ann? No, I don't. I think Benny Ann's one of the better golfers this week. So, you could go Akshay and Eric Cole for under their fantasy score. Those seem like pretty darn good bets to me. And if you guys are confused about the fantasy scoring here, I'll show you guys. So this is how it works. You get about 1.1 for pars, 4 for a birdie. And so that's why Rory getting 5 birdies would be huge. That's about 20 points. That's most of the points that he needs there. And bogeys are only 1.2. So again, if he only gets 2, that's a big difference. So that'd be about almost 12 points just on pars and then 18 elsewhere because 20, 12. So he's at 32. And if he gets 2 bogeys, I guess he wouldn't get his over as well. So yeah, we are getting some pretty good edges. As long as people aren't scoring a bunch of eagles, which is not as likely today or this week, I like some of these under bets that we are getting. I feel like we could kind of confidently launch them off. Now, the more that you put in of the same lines, the less it'll pay out. So I'll just put in like $1 as like 1 unit because I don't know you guys' unit size, but this will only pay 2.8 right now. Let's say you want to do Matt Fitzpatrick for lower. That's actually going to shift the payout to kind of be worse than you would be to just pair them up individually with the other golf. But this will be the bet of the day then for round 1 of the Valero Texas Open. Now, I will say I do like to look at prize picks lines prior to giving Underdog lines, but Underdog came out with them so early that I think we are getting some edges. It's just nice to be able to compare the PrizePicks line versus the Underdog line to see where we are getting the biggest edge so we can make the best bet possible. But that being said, I do think we are getting some edges here, especially if that weather report holds up, especially if these two had the PMT time where it typically is a little bit more windy. But that's going to be all for this video. If you guys want access to that Underdog cheat sheet, head on over to 9to5sports.com. I should point out, if you guys have never signed up for Underdog and you guys want to, use promo code 9to5. That'll just kick back some money my way. 100% deposit on a deposit up to $100. But yes, that's going to be all. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Give a like and subscribe. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.